Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my character tier list into season 2 of the 100. I did this at the end of series 1 where I put all my characters into tiers for my least favourite and my most favourite and all the in-betweens. And I'm going to do it again for every season, hopefully, until the end of season 7. Now I've made it a little bit simpler this time because I think the mistake I made last time was I had like tier lists called like front of line, toilet duty. And I think that kind of confused things a little bit because for me it was just meant to be my favourite characters, characters that I like, characters that are neutral, characters I don't like, least favourite characters at the bottom. But because I had these like tier list titles like front of line, toilet duty, floated, all that kind of stuff, it was kind of a little bit confusing because it kind of came across sometimes to some people that what I was doing was putting these people in these positions, and that's not really what I meant it to be. It was just a title for the tier. So for this time I just made it a little bit simpler, which I'll show you in a second. Other thing I want to say before we jump into it is I've not got every single character from series 2 on here. I think I've got every main character. I'm sure you'll let me know down below if I've forgotten somebody. But in terms of like the minor characters, there's one or two that I put in just as I went through the season. I kept trying to write names down, but I haven't put every single minor character in it. So I've not put in like the family that Jaha met in the desert, or some of the people like Emerson in Mount Weather I forgot to put in, or so if there's characters that you think should be in it but I've forgotten about, I apologise. But I've done my best, so I apologise if I missed some characters. But let's jump into the tier list. Okay, so as you can see, it's a little bit simpler this time. I've just put emojis to show what the tier is going to be about. So the top one, characters that I love. Second one, characters that I like. Middle one, quite neutral, characters that are just in the middle. Fourth one is characters that I don't like. Fifth one, characters that I really hate. So let's just jump into it. So the first character on the list is Abby. Oh, Abby's a complicated one this season because series 1, I quite liked Abby. I liked her quite a lot. But this series, I've really disagreed with a lot of the way she's acted and the way she's gone about everything that she's done. I think she's going to be quite a controversial character. Because I know in comments a lot of the time recently, a lot of people are saying, I hate Abby, Abby's awful, why would you listen to her? But there's also a couple of comments here and there that kind of see things from her point of view. So I find it quite conflicting because at the end of the season, I sided with her on some of the reactions to Clarke's doings. I kind of understood as a mother why she would react the way she is. And the last couple of episodes, she kind of redeemed herself for me when she also sat back and realised the way we've acted has influenced how Clarke's now become. So we're sat there kind of giving her all this grief, but what we've done has caused that. So I don't think she's going to be as high as she was last season, but I don't hate the character. I quite like her as a character. I just completely disagreed with a lot of the way she's been and spoken to people this season and some of the speeches that she's made. I don't know, but then also like when she was like standing up to Jaha, I was also on her side then, so I'm very conflicted for me. So I don't hate her, I don't dislike her. I think we'll have to put her right in the middle for me because she's been so up and down. There's things I love, things I hate. I think it kind of just evens out that for me, she's kind of like neutral. Like I don't hate her, I don't love her, I don't like her, I don't dislike her. It depends on the episode and what she's doing. She goes up and down for me. So yeah, I'm going to put her in the middle. Next one is Major Burn. Quite easily dislike. Initially, I would have thought I'm going to put her on hate because she was quite mouthy and constantly pulling a gun out on people. And the way she was leading people, while she was sounded like she was trying to do the right thing, it always came across like she was kind of promoting violence a little bit. I just didn't like the character. It was sad that she died the way she did because it was like she was trying to help Clarke at the time. But I didn't like the character. I found her quite aggressive and always seemed to be getting in the way of things. So I just didn't like Major Burn. So for me, she goes in the dislike category. Okay, Raven. This is another really complicated one because season 1, I had her smack bang at the top. I loved her in series 1. But this series, she went from understandably being angry at Murphy at times to being quite aggressive towards people I felt like reasons that weren't valid, to then getting like sidelined for most of the season, where she wasn't in about half of the season, she was barely in it, and then at the end she was really good. So again, she kind of goes up and down, and I like the character as a person. I don't agree with some of the way she spoke to Clarke, and I understand that she was grieving with Finn's death, but the way she shouted at Clarke, the way she was like, kill the commander, kill Lexa, that was never going to end well. That would have made things 10 times worse. So she wasn't thinking straight, which I know is part of grief and everyone deals with it differently. But I didn't like her actions then. And like I said, for some of the season, she just disappeared. And I know she was in it a little bit, But like this whole storyline with her leg, and the leg doesn't work and getting the brace, was a focal point of the first few episodes. And then it was kind of forgotten about. Yes, it was touched on here and there throughout the rest of the season, but it never really became much of a plot point at all. So I kind of felt like it was kind of brushed under the carpet a little bit. And last couple episodes, the stuff with her and Wick I really enjoyed. They're going to try and shut down the turbines. So she's a complicated one. She's definitely not in the bottom two. I don't love her this season. Like, I've gone up and down. I think I'm going to put her in like, because whilst I have been quite rude to her in some episodes, and like, shut up Raven, you stupid idiot, I do understand where she's coming from, and sometimes my reaction when I first watch it is different from when obviously you've taken time out, and some of you have taken months out and years out to kind of digest what she does and how she acts, whereas mine is just instinctual. Yeah, like, I'm going to put it in the like category. Finn, another complicated one. I liked Finn in season 1, but I know a lot of the comments have said when Finn died, I hated Finn from the start, didn't like his character, hated him. I quite liked him. I didn't like how he was like playing girls a little bit, and he was with Raven, then hooked up with Clarke. That's back in season 1. In season 2, he was obviously with Clarke, but then went down a very dark path as he was trying to get Clarke back from the mountain. And he was like executing grounders, and then killed that village of people, or some of the village of people. Most of them were unarmed and innocent, so I can't really put him in a top category because I hated him for that. Do I think he should deserve to die? I don't want the character to die. I liked him. I thought he was pretty, and I liked his development. But I understand why the need was for him to die, and given the circumstances that we had, he had to die through all that. There was no real way to get him out. The grounders have pretty much called him into, we either give him up, or we start a war, we kill everybody. We try and kill everybody. So he had to die in that moment. But I don't hate him as much as I understand why people do. I don't hate the guy, but I don't like him either this season. He really annoyed me. So I'm going to put him in the dislike category, which makes me sad because obviously we got the flashback with Raven as well, where we saw that he tried to be a good person and was helping her go on the spacewalk and all this nice stuff. But this season, he just went down a real dark path that I couldn't get on board with and executed all these people. So he had to go pretty low on the list. I am tempted to put him in the middle because above all that, I was still sad that he died. I am blinded by a pretty person, okay? Guilty. I'm a shell-hole, guilty gay man. Let's leave him in dislike because he did such bad things. Miller, I'm going to have to put him in neutral. He's around a lot, but he doesn't get really much to do. I'm hoping in season 3 he becomes more of a focal point and has more to do. There was a few glimpses of things with his dad. He was in a team in Mount Weather, but overall he's not had much to do. So I can't really like him. I can't really dislike him. He's just kind of there. Murphy. Controversially, I love Murphy. Do I like all of his character choices? No, of course not, because that's what makes a good character in any TV show. Is they do things you agree with, they do things you don't agree with. But do you love them? Do you enjoy watching the character develop? With Murphy, for me, yeah, I love his character. I've really enjoyed seeing his development this season from episode 1, where he tried to comfort Raven a little bit when she was bleeding out after being shot by him. And I just liked his development. I don't know what it is from. It seemed like he's trying to be a better person this season, and he's learned that the way he was in season 1 isn't good, and he is trying to become someone better. And you can see that in the finale in particular, where Jaha happily just launched that boy overboard, and Murphy was like, "What are you doing?" And he connected with Emory in the desert about how he's a murderer and he's just trying to be a better person, stay out of trouble. I just really enjoy his character, and I'm really intrigued to know where he goes in series 3. He's obviously in that bunker right now, and we watched that video about the missile, I think it's about. Yeah, I don't know what it is about Murphy. There's something about him, even in season 1 when he was a knob and he was banished and he came back and he was killing people. I find him fascinating as a character, and I'm really excited to see where he goes in series 3. Okay, next on the list is Anya. Quite easily she's going to go in the light category for me. There's not a ton I can really say about the character because she died so early on in the season, but I liked her in season 1. I enjoyed watching her as a character, but in terms of her actions in season 2, I thought that she was fun. I enjoyed her relationship with Clarke, really, when they were like escaping from that weather, but they kept like betraying each other, and it was funny because as soon as one person was free, they'd like betray the other person. They'd just hit her over the head with a rock, or should do this or do that. And I just enjoyed watching Anya's character, and unfortunately she died. I think it was episode 4 she died in. She got shot, but as it seemed like she was trying to help them, and she looked like she was going to go back to the Grounders and try and start a truce. So, shame that she died. It really is a shame for me that she died. But I liked Anya's character. Cage. Look, if you've watched my reactions to any of season 2, you'll know I dislike this character with every fibre of my being. Did I understand some of his actions? Of course I did. That's what the show does really well. Whether it's a character that I love or hate or whatever, even if I don't agree with what they're doing, I understand why they do what they're doing. I just hated him with a passion. I hated the way he looked, his sneery mouth that like curled up and curled down. I just didn't like the way he was like a proper sneery, slimy character. I'm not going to go into it too much because I'm having a good day today. I don't want to get too angry. But I just really disliked Cage with a passion, whilst I understood what he did. But maybe the fact that he's a villain and I put him in the bottom category as the most hated character, maybe that's a good sign of the writing, that they've written him so well that I just didn't like him. So yeah, for me, Cage is bottom tier. Clarke is another really complicated one. I think I'm going to say that a lot about this show. The characters are so complex. You can have a character like Murphy, who's a murderer in season 1, but one of my favourite characters. You can have a character like Abby, who tries in her mind to do the best all the time. Don't like her that much. And Clarke is complicated because I understand again the route she went down. She killed Finn, and I thought that was a brilliant move on her part. It was a smart way to end a war, or to stop a war from happening, stop a battle, and she took the hard decision to kill the man she loved. And that was sad, because no one wants to kill the person they love, and she took it in her own hands and made that decision by herself. No one presented her with that choice. The choice was give Finn up, let the Grounders basically tear him apart, or Raven gave her the choice to kill the commander. So she did the sensible thing and killed Finn. But then she started going on a dark route, getting a bit more hardcore, a bit more cutthroat. And obviously the next thing after that was she let Tondisi get bombed. Again, in the comments on the videos, people were saying they would have done the same thing. It was the right thing to do. I don't know if I would have done the same thing. That doesn't mean my decision would be any better. And that's what the show's all about. But it was a complicated decision. It was a hard decision. And I get why she did what she did. And then towards the finale, I kind of rooted for her again as she pulled the lever basically to kill everyone in Mount Weather in level 5. And what I can see happening, because I've not put the finale up yet, is people disagreed with me about the Tondisi thing. So I imagine people are going to disagree with me again about irradiating level 5. Irradiating, I think is the term. I thought it was a sensible thing to do because I didn't see them having much choice. If you want to save your people, what other choice do you have? However, I do feel like people would disagree because there were kids in there, and that's really sad. And I don't like that she killed kids at all, her and Bellamy. But, like I say, with the Finn situation as well, with the choices that were in front of them, the only way she could see, or I could see, to save her people was that. Because like with the bone marrow, Kane gave Cage a choice, let us donate it, he didn't take it. So that kind of backed Clarke into a corner of what she had to do. So where do I put her in the list? It's one of the top. I think I'm going to put her in like, because I don't agree with all the decisions, but I do really like her as a character. And whilst I do feel like sometimes every big decision focuses around Clarke all the time, and it's a little, not far-fetched, but I was glad that Bellamy stepped in the finale as well, because why does Clarke get to make all these hard decisions? I guess Finn did as well at times. So she's a little kind of like overpowered, but that's what happens sometimes when there's a show that focuses on a group of people, but there's like one sort of main character. They get more to do. Yeah, I like it. I don't love her, but I like her. I think I like her more in this season than I did in Series 1. Okay, on to Mr. Presidente. I have mixed feelings on him as well, as I do with probably everybody else on this list. I really disliked him at first because I didn't trust him, but I was right to not trust him because he was obviously draining the blood from the Grounders and whatnot. Then I started to root for him again because he seemed like he was trying to stop Cage. Don't want to do this bone marrow thing. Let's not do this. Let's try to help the people escape. Did he try to help them escape? I can't remember. and seemed like he was like turning a corner. But then towards the finale, he inevitably saved his own people. Oh, I've just realised I haven't got Lexa in this thing. Oh, I forgot to put Lexa in. Okay, so I'll do Lexa last, and I'll just like superimpose a picture of her on the screen so you know where I put it. But yeah, I get really complicated with this guy. I think he's going to be like middle ground, because I rooted for him, then I didn't root for him. No, hated him, loved him, hated him. Kind of balances out. He's fine. I don't hate the character, especially not as much as his son. But yeah, I quite enjoy watching his development. It was a shame that he ended up the way he did. Jasper. Can I put him in bottom tier? Is that really brutal? Let's put him there for now. But I disliked him more than Finn. No, I didn't, because Finn killed lots of people. Right, okay. Jasper. I'm not going to talk a lot, because again, if you watch my reactions, you know how I feel. Jasper annoys me. He just really pisses me off as a character. Not because I hate him. I don't hate him. His actions really stress me out. Because he gets involved in all these plans, but rarely do any that succeed. They all seem to go wrong. Anytime he says to somebody, I'm going to protect you, I promise, or whatever, they get caught and have the bomb are extracted. They get caught, maybe almost executed. Or like Monty got caught and was in the cages as well. It happened with Harper, happened with Monty, and there was a girl in the one where Bellamy ended up saving her as well. And there was stuff in the finale. He promised to save Maya, didn't. I know it's not all his fault, but I can't help but, link him to all that and how his plans just always seem to fail. So I don't like the character particularly. But do I hate him as much as Finn and Byrne? I don't know. I really annoy me this season, so I'm going to have to leave him there for now. I'll have another look towards the end to just see if I want to move anyone around. But yeah, for Jasper, I just didn't like his character this season. I understood again why he did what he did, why he got sad when Maya died, obviously. But he meant well. Just messed everything up. Jaha's middle ground for me. Middle ground. Because it's another character like the President where, start of the season, I really rooted for Jaha. Bit confused as to why he was still alive. I thought he was dead. I thought he deserved a great death scene end of season 1. But whatever. He's back alive. And actually when he was like the whole baby situation and him getting on the missile and rocketing down to Earth, I was all for him. I was really excited to see where he went. And really gunning for him to do more. And then when he got to Camp Jaha and just was understandably trying to take his place back, it's not that he did that bugged me as much as the fact that he was quite rude about it and quite, as soon as he didn't get his own way, he was like stropping and has left camp. But towards the end of the season, I quite liked him. Whilst I didn't agree with like him throwing that guy overboard, what's his name, Craig, I quite enjoyed seeing his development from a leader to this kind of solo person that's going to go after what he wants. And I quite enjoyed that. But I can't condone his actions the first half of the season. But I liked him at the end, so it kind of, again, evens out to neutral for me. Again, I might move these around again towards the end, but I enjoyed seeing him at the end of the season. I'm really intrigued to know what this whole lady in the mansion stuff means with the missile that I think is the one that he came down to Earth in. Yeah, it must be, because he said that he'd brought them a gift, so really intriguing there. Maya, I'm going to put Maya on like. I like Maya as a character. I can't say I really love her, because I just never fell in love with the character, but I liked her. She was always trying to help the Sky people out, tried to find things in that weather that could help them, tried to help them survive, help them escape, and ultimately gave up her life to save them. Not that she sacrificed herself, but she knew by going against Mount Weather that she eventually, at the end of the season, she couldn't go to level 5 because they'd kill her. If she stayed down here, she'd die of radiation. So she knew that actions that she'd taken had led her to this point, but she was still trying to help them. And so I do like Maya, because I just don't love her. She's not had a lot of development, apart from she kind of likes Jasper. She's into Jasper, and she tries to help them. But I did like the stuff with the dad as well. I thought that was quite sweet. So, yeah, I like Maya as a character. It's a shame that she died. Yeah. Monty! Top tier, Monty. Monty. I don't know what it is about Monty. I just love him. He just seems like such a sweet guy. And it sounds like a really weird thing to say. Because, again, in the season, he's not had a ton to do. He had quite a bit at the beginning when him and Clarke were like in the cells, and then when Clarke first got into the main part of that weather, her and Jasper were quite prominent. But over the course of the season, minus the scene where when he went into that control room, and tried to do the connection thing. I can't even speak today. Tried to like establish a connection and just gave himself away when he got captured. Yeah, I just love him. I don't know what it is. I think it's like carrying on from season 1 when he was great. He did really good in this season. But even though he hasn't been in it much, I still just, every time he's on screen, I'm like, yes, Monty. And like I said, again, like with Miller, I do hope he gets more to do in season 3 because I just really enjoy his character. But then my fear then becomes, if he becomes a main character, he's then got a major target on his back. So I don't know. I just really enjoy Monty's character. Okay, Wick. Yeah, I like Wick. Again, I don't have anything to dislike about the guy. He's a handsome guy. He's lovely to Raven. He helped her get over the issues regarding her leg. He really helped in the finale, or 2-part finale. I just need to know more about him, which hopefully we'll do next season, for me to really like put him in like a love category. I do like him. He's good. He's funny. I quite enjoy his humour and his relationship with Raven. But yeah, he's just an okay character for now. Okay, Indra. Again, light category. I really enjoy Indra as a character. I went through kind of phases with her where initially I didn't like her, and then I kind of hated her a little bit. But then towards the end, I really loved what she did. Especially when I realised in the finale that she gave Lincoln the knife for him to go out and help the people. Which leads me to believe that even though I understand her motives, because she's always like, grounders come first, we protect the grounders, we do what the commander says, blah, blah, blah. But like I said, with her connection with Octavia, I was saying at the time, I hope that there's something about that connection which leads her to come back, help them in some way. Like, even though she knows it's against her commander, whatever, it's what I think she feels like is right to do. And initially it looked like that was not going to happen because she had Lincoln tied up. But as she spoke to him, saying something quite aggressive towards him, she put the knife behind him. So I'm like, yes, Indra cares about Octavia. She doesn't want to. I don't think she wants to. But she did that knife thing to help save Octavia and other people. So I'm quite warm into her character. I'm really excited to see where she goes. I love Adina Porter as an actress. I've enjoyed her in American Horror Story and other things. I think she was in True Blood as well. Or I think of someone else. I enjoy her as an actress, and I'm starting to really warm to her character. Again, excited to see where she goes next season. Okay, next on the list is Nico. I'll put him in the middle. He's fine. I quite enjoy his character. He's not in it all that often, especially in like a major way. He's just okay. Like he's there. I don't really know enough about him to really talk about much. I can't remember much major that he's done, so forgive me. Middle of the road. I don't have any bad feelings against him. I don't have any like loving feelings towards him. I don't. Yeah, middle of the road for me. Good character, I guess. Okay, Lincoln. Top tier Lincoln. Yes, before people comment, I think he's very, 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 very fit. And that does maybe sway my opinion just a little bit. But I do love his character, especially like the Reaper stuff and him trying to get over like this essentially an addiction storyline. That was all fun to see, and I enjoyed him coming around. And he got to kill Cage, so I can't not put him high on the list because he killed Cage at the end of the season. I loved that scene when he cut his arm off and then shot the Reaper juice into him. I just really like Lincoln as a character. I love his relationship with Octavia and how even through what they've gone through, that she's now like a grounder when he fell in love with her as an Ark person and he went to be a Reaper and is now not a Reaper. They still always find their way back to each other. I just really enjoy the characters, and the more times he gets shirtless. Okay, Bellamy. Okay, if you look at my season 1 character tier list, this might be a shock to you. No, he's bottom tier, definitely. No, I'm joking. Bellamy's top tier. I really enjoyed him this season quite a lot. First half, he didn't really have a lot to do. He was obviously in every episode, but he didn't really have a lot really to do. But especially towards the latter half of the season, he was trying to sneak into Mount Weather and help them all escape. I loved his character. He was like an action hero at times. He saved the people that Jasper, like when the girl got captured in Jasper's plan, Bellamy got to save her. We got some shirtless action when he got sprayed, decontaminated or whatever. I just really enjoyed him in the latter half of the season. He was really selfless. He put his life on the line multiple times to save people, and I really enjoyed what I saw. I'm excited to see what he does in Series 3. Yeah, definitely loved him. Another top tier, baby, Octavia. I love Octavia. I loved her in Series 1. I loved her in Series 2. And I hope I'm going to love her in Series 3 and more. I just really enjoy watching her development. From like the sheltered person in Season 1, because she obviously grew up locked in a room, to like this essentially grounder, machete wielding, sliding across the floor, Mila Jovovich type badass. I love her. I really enjoy watching the action scenes that she's in and how she's becoming more of a grounder day by day. Obviously, at the end of the season, the grounders parted ways with her. Whether they're going to meet up again in Series 2, I hope so. Series 3, I hope so, because I really want to see her and Indra kind of start more of a relationship again, because I was quite enjoying that dynamic. But I don't even know what I can say about Octavia other than I just love her. The way she was the one that went back to save them in the final episode, and how her pleading with Indra didn't look like it had worked, but obviously did, or Indra wouldn't have given the knife to Lincoln. I just love her. I think she's brilliant. Oh, I've got to say with Bellamy as well. Part of the reason that I liked his character is that when he helped Clarke pull the lever to release all the air into level 5, whilst it was a really hard decision, he did it to help her not do it by herself. And again, such a selfless thing, because he then had his hands on the lever that killed children, and that's going to be a really hard thing to deal with. But whilst Clarke took the option to obviously leave town, which is kind of understandable given all the other stuff she's done this season, Bellamy chose to stay and deal with it. But yeah, love it. Love Bellamy and Octavia. Great brother and sister team. And I'm hoping I don't go down a hate route again like I did in season 1 with Bellamy. But I'm hoping Octavia will stay top of the list. Is this guy called Ben? That's kind of where I'm going to put him. Middle of the road. He's in it regular enough that I notice him. Regular enough that I looked his picture up. The doctor guy. But he doesn't really do a lot. I don't have a reason to dislike him. It's hard putting him on the same list as like Abby, because I have no reason to dislike him. Whereas Abby annoys me and I enjoy it, and then she annoys me. He's just kind of there. So I'm going to have to move some stuff around. Let's think. But for now, middle of the road. I don't have a lot to say about the character. Kane. I'm going to put Kane in like... Do I agree with all his actions this season? Again, no. But do I agree with most people's actions this season? All the time? No. But I liked him more than Abby. That's a fact. And whilst I have issues with the way he tries to... Like at least initially at the beginning of the season, he was trying to take over, and right, we're back in charge now. I think he quite quickly realised... Oh yeah, because he tortured Abby as well. But I think he realised quickly that the way he was acting was wrong. And over the course of the season, you saw him start to change. Because he was part of the conversation with Abby about how Clarke has, done what she's been taught to do. He was part of killing 300 people in the Ark. She killed a few hundred people in Tondisi. And then in the finale, he was the one that came up with the plan, which I was thinking of from like a few episodes in. Can we not just donate this stuff? And it's linking to him back on the Ark. If you give people the choice to sacrifice either their lives or just something of themselves to save their own lives or to save lives of the people they love, more often than not, they'll take you up on that offer. So at the end of the season, when Kane said, let's donate bone marrow, let us donate it. We don't have to die here and now. We can stop all this fighting. We can stop the death. We'll donate the bone marrow and then we'll go. And you'll be alive. We'll be alive. All good. Obviously, Cage didn't accept that. So I just think I like Kane's arc this season. And I really enjoyed him towards the last end of the season, definitely. And I don't know what's going to happen with him moving forward. It was hinted that he was quite badly injured under the rock, but never really specified after that how badly. Maybe he was fine, I don't know. But I would have thought with the way the rock was on his leg that he would have to lose the leg or has no use of it. Maybe, I don't know, but we'll have to see. Okay, and the one that I forgot to put in, because I'm an idiot, is Lexa. Lexa was a really interesting character, really interesting. So one aspect of her is obviously this painful backstory she's got of this girlfriend that she lost, and now she's obviously got feelings for Clarke, and they kissed, and she asked Clarke to come back with her so they can kind of have a relationship after the fight with Mount Weather. However, she was then offered a good deal for the Grounders. We'll release all the Grounders in Mount Weather, but you have to leave the Ark people here. And whilst that is a betrayal to Clarke, because they were not just like falling for each other, but they were also had an alliance. I get why she did it. She said from day one, it's all about protecting her own people. And you've got to give her credit. She always sticks to that. And at a detriment to the people that she starts to fancy, like Clarke, or maybe the ex-girlfriend. I can't remember the full story there, but she mentioned something about the Ice Nation, and there's a lady there, and you got to admit that no, not Clarke, Lexa will always stick to her word, and she's true to her guns, and she always protects the grounders at whatever cost it does. So I kind of respect her for that. She always makes these hard decisions. She's a badass, and she's not afraid to kill someone to, save the many, and or kill, like with the bombing of Tondisi. She knew it was a painful thing to do, but it was for the greater cause, for the greater good. So for me, I would put Lexa in the top tier. I just really enjoyed watching the character, actually. I enjoyed her development and the twists and the turns and the shock. It shouldn't have been a shocking twist when she made that deal, because it's so true to a character. And that's why it's a good twist, because a bad twist for me is when someone just turns evil and there's no rhyme or reason for it, or they make this horrible decision for no good purpose. Whereas Lexa's decision, whilst it was heartbreaking for Clarke and the Ark crew, it makes sense for Lexa's character. So yeah, that's my tier list. Let me have a quick look through, see if I want to move anybody. Top tier: Murphy, Monty, Lincoln, Bellamy, and Octavia. Pretty happy with that list. Characters that I like: Raven, Anya, Clarke, Maya, Wick, Indra, and Kane. Yeah. I mean, it's weird because, I like Anya a lot more than I like, say, Maya, but I don't dislike them, so I can't put them any lower. Characters that I'm a bit meh about, they just middle out to me, is Abby. Actually, you know what? She's such a complicated one for me, because she's annoyed me. No, I'm going to put her down. I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to put her there. So characters in the middle: Miller, middle of the road; President, middle of the road. I don't really know how I feel for him right now. Jaha, Nico, and Ben, is it? The Doctor? Yeah, they're all kind of middle characters. I'm quite neutral on them. I don't hate them. I don't love them. They're just there. Some of them in the background. Some of them, I just don't know how I feel about them. I don't really know how I think or where my heart's at, so I have to put them in the middle. Characters that I don't like: Burn, Finn, Abby, and Jasper. Yeah, pretty solid. And the one character that I hated this season is Cage. I am tempted to put Jasper there, but where I'm not doing that is because Jasper was just bad at his job. Whereas Cage made decisions to kill people and made decisions to torture people, Jasper was just shit at executing a plan solidly, so I can't put him in the hate category. So there is my character tier ranking for Series 2 of the 100. Let me know down below how much you disagree with my opinion. I quite enjoy reading the comments on these videos, because I enjoy people telling me how good some of my stuff is, but how vastly they disagree with it. But I quite enjoy all that stuff, so let me know down below what your thoughts are on my character ranking for Series 2. Guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm really excited to jump into Series 3. I'll be starting that probably in a couple of weeks' time, so stay tuned for the first episode of Series 3 in your feeds. And also, yeah, I'm really excited. If you want to see the full-length reactions to Season 3, when I do start it, there's a link to my Patreon down below, where I might have already started Series 3. If I've got my schedule right, I might have done the first episode. I'm not 100% sure yet, but yeah, stay tuned and have a look, and see if you're interested in supporting me over there. As always, guys, my name is Scott. Hope you're well, taking care of yourselves, and staying safe. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know down below what you thought. Subscribe to my channel for Series 3 of the 100, or if you wanted to tune into this video, there's reactions to every episode of Series 1 and 2 in the playlists down below. Thanks for watching, take care, guys, and I'll see you all soon for the next episode of the 100. Bye, guys.